I'm right now, as you know, in a very tough re-election race in Texas. The Democrats, Chuck Schumer has made clear I'm his #1 target. The Democrats intend to spend over $100 million to defeat me in Texas. We just had a poll last week that showed it as a 1-point race, and yet we can expect Mitch again not to spend any money to defend me.
I'm sitting in a glass house throwing stones. Take it from someone who knows that guy really likes the sound of his own voice. The last time that Ted Cruz ran for re-election, he sweated out a narrow victory over Beto O'Rourke of less than 3 points. You would think that would be a wake-up call for the Texas senator to start laser focusing on the needs of his constituents. But instead, just over 2 years after his narrow victory, he tried to secretly jet off to Cancun during the worst weather disaster his state had seen in a long time, one that killed nearly 250 people. Recently, it seems like he's basically reduced himself to being a part-time senator and nearly full-time podcaster. Get this, last week he posted 5 different episodes, 5 different podcast episodes. He's a senator. He is now facing another real re-election challenge. And as you heard, he's a little worried he's not getting the support he needs from fellow Republicans. Congressman Colin Allred of Texas is running in the Democratic race against Texas State Senator Roland Gutierrez and others to challenge Cruz. He previously served in the Department of Housing and Urban Development under President Obama. Before that, he was an NFL linebacker, and I just learned he's a 4th-generation Texan. He joins me now. Good to have you here.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Okay, people might think this is weird or petty, but I'm going to talk. I think it's weird for a U.S. senator to do 5 podcast episodes a week. Yeah. I'm not wrong,
That's right. No, that's right. I mean, it's very time-consuming. Like when I appear on a podcast, it takes time. But being the host, and he normally does 3 a week, so that was actually news for me that he was up to 5. He's a media personality. He's not serious about being a senator.
I feel like there's some level at which maybe you'll help. If you beat him, you help him. Because I think he really just wants to do that full time, which, again, no shade.
Hey,
you know what I mean?
Right,
but I mean, you might be giving him a hand.
Yeah, that's what he wants to do. He's not a serious legislator. I mean, we're talking about these negotiations in the Senate right now. You'll never see him a part of those negotiations. He won't be rolling up his sleeves and trying to figure out a compromise on how we can legislate to move forward. This is what he does. He goes on podcasts, he goes on cable news, and that's what he does.
And in fact, I mean, I thought this border story that we just talked about, you would have a lot to say about. You have been critical of the handling by this President Joe Biden of the border. You were among 3 Texas Democrats who voted to condemn the president's handling southern border. You touted your own bipartisan legislation would help secure the border, provide a pathway to citizenship for Dreamers and others who are living here, follow laws, surge resources to Border Patrol and border communities. So you've been sort of trying to work on something like this.
Yeah.
The Senate compromise doesn't even have some of the stuff in here. Like there's no path to citizenship for the Dreamers, all this.
Right. That's right.
I know we don't have paper on it yet, but would you support that legislation?
I mean, I think so. We haven't gotten all the details, but from what we are seeing, it looks like it's an attempt to deal with an asylum system that's broken, to faster process, and to set some standards that I think probably have to be set in terms of what's the threshold to have your asylum claim heard. But listen, Ted Cruz is not going to be a part of any of this. And he said in a Senate meeting, it kind of leaked out, I guess, a lunch meeting of theirs, that he's worried about the politics of it, not the policy, the politics of it. And that's where the cynicism comes in. That's what I think Texans are so sick of.
I mean, I think he said both privately and publicly. So I think what happened was that there was that caucus lunch they all had after the deal was struck. And it was after Trump won New Hampshire. McConnell's like, the politics of this have changed. We need the crisis. Basically, he didn't say this, but we want the crisis to keep going. Mm-hmm. I guess it makes me wonder, like, maybe they don't think it's correct. I mean, like, I just find it pretty wild. Like, to me, it's a really defining issue about the nature of these different senators. Like, Lankford is a conservative dude.
Yeah.
In your neighboring state of Oklahoma.
That's right.
He's not like a squish.
That's right.
And he's running around being like, guys, we got it. Let's do it.
That's right. Also, for Texas, we're a border state. And so there's probably no state that needs this to be addressed more.
The vast majority of the crossings are happening in
Texas. That's right. And we have a record number in December of over 300,000. Texas feels that. So you would think that a Texas senator would then say, I want to respond to this and find a way legislatively. But of course, as we saw in the clip there, and as we know from his character, he's just looking for the next election so he can keep podcasting.
One of the issues that I think there will be a very clear difference between if you were to win the nomination, I think any Democrat, frankly, against Ted Cruz will be on the issue of abortion.
Yeah.
He is strongly in favor of the Supreme Court's Dobbs decision, strongly opposed to abortion rights. I want to just play a little bit of your campaign ad because I think it highlights the message that you or other Democrats, not just in Texas, are going to be running on in this year. Take a listen.
For women in this state, the fear is real.
Texas's abortion ban is a threat to their lives, to all of our freedom. That's why I'm running for Senate, to end this abortion ban. Because in Texas, we stand up for freedom.
Your state has a very restrictive ban. It was at the front edge of this, obviously, with the SB 8 law. Do you think a abortion rights referendum statewide would win in Texas?
I think it would. I don't think the legislature will let us do that.
They never will. No.
But what's happening in Texas is a tragedy. It really is. What we are seeing is what a total ban on abortion looks like, which is a mother of two who has a much wanted third pregnancy, who has to go to the emergency room 4 times. Her doctor tells her she needs a medically necessary abortion. She asks her state to get that care close to home, and they say no. And they don't just say no. They say, we're going to prosecute your doctor, your hospital. You're going to be subject to this ridiculous bounty law that we have in this state. We have counties saying you can't drive through our county if you're going to use those roads to access an abortion. There's one thing I know about Texans, and as you said, I'm a 4th-generation Texan. I went to Baylor. My family's from Brownsville, grew up in Dallas. I know who we are. We believe in freedom, and this is not freedom. This is not who we are, and that's why we have to make sure that folks know the only way we can fix this is by beating Ted Cruz and codifying at the federal level Roe v. Wade. Our state's not going to do it, but we can do it at the federal level. We can restore this right.
The president had a rally where he said he pledged to do that. There have been this sort of push and pull about a clarity on the message from Democrats, right? Which is like, you can't unring the bell of Roe.
Right.
The court is what it is. But do you think there's unanimity across all aspects of the Democratic Party that this is a singular focus for all of you running in contested swing races in the House, in Senate races, and at the top of the ticket?
Well, it should be, because we have to. We passed in the last Congress a couple of times the Women's Health Protection Act, which would codify Roe. We couldn't get it through the Senate, even though we had 50 votes. When I'm in the Senate, we will have to get that done because we have to restore these rights. And I'm a voting rights lawyer as well before I came to Congress. We have to restore that right as well. We have to go back and I think solidify some of these foundational rights that have been eroded by what I think is a rogue Supreme Court and also, of course, years of inaction and unable to get things through the Senate.
Final question for you. Do you think you can go talk to the folks of Texas about this Biden economy or this economy?
Well, listen.
With a story to tell.
Yeah. Well, I come from a family where I was raised by a single mom, was a public school teacher. We were kind of one of those families where you swipe your debit card and you pray when you go to the store. So I know, what families have been facing. But I also know who's fighting to lower your costs. Who wants to expand the child tax credit so 16 million kids will benefit from it? Who wants to lower your health care costs and cap the cost of insulin at $35 a month? Ted Cruz voted against that. Who are they looking out for, as I think you talked about in the previous segment? And who are we looking out for? We want to lower your costs. We want to make life more affordable for you. We want to give you a chance to chase your version of the American dream. We're on, and I'm on your side. That's my message it's going to be.
All right, Congressman Colin Allred, that primary will be in March, if I'm not mistaken, right? Super Tuesday. We will be watching it closely. Thanks so much for coming by.
Thank you.
Come by anytime you're in New York. Thanks a lot.